Why do we do things that harm us? Well, obviously the answer is going to be different for each single person. But the main reason I can see from my perspective is that we don't realize how powerful we really are. We are taught our entire lives that we're victims. Victims of our past choices, of our government, the system, our parents, other people's choices, the circumstances. We are taught that we have no control, that things randomly happen to us out of the blue, and that we don't have much power. But that's wrong. We are very, very powerful. But we don't realize that. And so when we get sick or have a problem in any life area, we are not trained to get active about it and do something about it. We are trained to be passive and to blame external circumstances and to just do nothing about it. I see a lot of people sitting on the couch complaining about all kinds of stuff and not doing anything about it. I think that is a big, big part of the problem. And I think it affects a lot of people. Maybe not everyone. I'm sure there are some very empowered individuals on this planet who don't have this problem. But many, many people have it. I know I certainly have it big time. I often catch myself, just today I caught myself again, being unhappy about a situation in my life and then realizing that I hadn't actually done much about it. And it might seem insane, to sit on the couch and complain about something and not do anything about it. But we are taught to react that way because we are taught that we're victims and that there is no correlation between our choices and what happens to us. That's exactly the problem, because there is a very direct correlation between what we do and what happens in our life. When we have this kind of victim mindset, we're very passive. And we don't take action much. And of course we also keep doing the things that harm us, because we don't really see that this choice is really harming us. And we don't realize that we have the power to change that. It's like, if you're a victim and it just happens to you, then nothing you do or don't do can change the situation anyway. And that's exactly the problem, because the things that you do and don't do affect the problem big time. If you want to heal and stop doing the things that harm you, you need to understand that you are very powerful and that your choices do matter a lot. They have a huge impact. And you need to stop being passive. You need to get active and creative, and you need to work on it. It can be a lot of work, but you just have to do it. Stop being a victim. Stop being passive. Stop blaming external circumstances, other people's choices, the government, your parents, genetics, whatever. Just stop it. Get up and ask yourself, how much have I really done about this? And if the problem is still there, then you just haven't done enough. Another very common reason why people make choices that harm them is that they don't realize that these choices harm them. It's a simple lack of awareness. For example, I used to eat a very unhealthy diet simply because I didn't realize it was unhealthy. I had always been taught that eating these things was the normal and healthy thing to do. And I ended up quickly being obese and very sick, and I couldn't see the connection to my diet because I sincerely believed I was eating a healthy diet. So sometimes a lack of awareness, a lack of information can prevent us from realizing what we're doing. After I received new information and changed my diet, I lost a lot of weight, and I have been recovering my health ever since. It's working great, but I just needed the right information. So yeah, lack of information is one reason. And then there's also the fact that we are trained to think in a very linear way, very much cause and effect. And I think sometimes this is not an advantage because things are not that simple. Sometimes the choice that harms us is in a different life area or at a different level of our being. For example, you could have a problem in your health because of something happening in your relationship. Or you could have a problem in your career because of something you're eating. And also it can be at different levels of your being. Like you could have a physical problem, but the root cause is actually mental or at soul level. And we often don't see these correlations because we're not used to thinking that way. So if you have a problem in a specific life area and at a certain level of your being, physical, mental, emotional, soul level, I recommend that you don't look only at that life area and that aspect of yourself, but instead that you examine your entire life across all areas of your life and at all dimensional levels of your being to see where you're making choices that harm you. Usually we all know about at least one or two things that we know we should stop doing. Start there. Start there, and when you do that, more information can come to you. You can also ask God, your higher self, the universe, or whatever you believe in, for input on that, and ask to receive guidance and to receive information on which choices you are making that harm you and what you could change. Because the thing with intuitive information is that you will only receive as much information as you can implement. And then you have to actually take action and implement that information, and then you will receive new information. So if you already know about a few things you could change, it's pointless to ask for more information. Just start there, change those one or two things, and then you will receive more information. There are many more reasons why we do things that harm us, but they're specific to each person. Fear is a big one. I mean, getting out of situations that harm us can be very scary. It can be very inconvenient. It can push us beyond our limits. It can get us out of our comfort zone. And not everyone is willing to do that. And another one that is really big that I see often is a lack of self-love. Like low self-worth, low self-esteem, lack of self-love. It can take a lot of effort to make different choices. And if you don't love yourself, why would you make the effort to make yourself happy? You need to love yourself first before you can do that. You need to think that you really deserve it, that you're worth it, that it's worth your time and energy investment. Otherwise, why would you even bother? How to stop doing the things that harm you? Realize that you are very powerful and that your choices matter a lot. Figure out which choices you're currently making that are harming you. It doesn't matter in which life area or at which level of your being. Get active, take action, and make different choices. Take it one step at a time. Start with what you know, and as you progress, you will get more information. Love yourself enough to do whatever it takes. And make choices out of love, not fear.